Imagine a president who fights for your healthcare, cares about the planet, and actually looks like the melting pot that is America. Yeah, sounds good, right? With the 2024 election looming like a bad Tinder date, you need someone who gets it, someone who's ready to lead from the get-go. This is where Kamala Harris comes in. Kamala Harris is making waves as a top contender in the 2024 presidential race. She has got the experience, the vision, and the guts to tackle the big messes America is facing. But why should you choose Kamala over, say, Donald Trump? In this video, we will break down the top reasons that make Kamala Harris the best choice for president. Kamala Harris is no stranger to making history. Seriously, she has been breaking barriers like it's her day job. Growing up in Oakland, California, with a Jamaican dad and an Indian mom, she learned early on that fighting for justice isn't just a nice idea, it is a way of life. After graduating from Howard University and snagging a law degree from the University of California, Kamala dove headfirst into public service. She started out as a prosecutor. From there, she became the district attorney of San Francisco, then took it up a notch by becoming California's Attorney General. In 2016, she hit the national stage as a U.S. Senator, where she stood up for people left behind, pushing for better healthcare, racial justice, and fixing the broken immigration system. Fast forward to 2020, Kamala was picked as Joe Biden's running mate, making history again as the first woman of color to serve as vice president. And now, she's gunning for the big job in 2024. And let's just say people are pretty excited. So, why do Americans love Kamala? Let's find out. At number 10, she is the first female vice president. Kamala Harris broke a massive glass ceiling when she became the first female vice president of the United States in 2021. This moment was monumental for many Americans, especially women and girls, who had never seen someone like them in one of the highest offices in the country. This achievement represents progress and serves as an inspiration for future generations. People see Harris not only as a trailblazer, but also as someone who has paved the way for more women, especially women of color, to reach high political positions. She's been through it, so she knows the struggle, and that's why millions of women relate to her and are cheering her on. At number 9, she focuses on racial and social justice. From her early days as a prosecutor to her time as a U.S. Senator, Harris has always focused on racial and social justice. She has taken a strong stance on issues like police reform, criminal justice reform, and civil rights. When she was California's Attorney General, she kicked off initiatives to tackle implicit bias in law enforcement and to make sure the cops were working with communities, not against them. As a U.S. Senator, Kamala pushed hard for the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act by holding bad cops accountable like they are not above the law, because they aren't. For marginalized communities, she's a candidate that they can trust to have their back in the fight for equality. At number 8, she fiercely supports women's rights. Kamala Harris has been waving the flag for women's rights long before it became trendy. Paid family leave, equal pay, reproductive rights, she is all over it. And after the Supreme Court decided to turn back the clock by overturning Roe v. Wade, Kamala stepped up as one of the loudest voices fighting for women's right to control their own bodies. For many American women, Harris's laser focus on reproductive rights is a huge reason why they support her. And when she talks about equal pay and childcare, working moms everywhere nod like, yes, that's my girl. She gets it, she fights for it, and that's why she's got their vote. At number 7, she is a champion of climate action. Kamala Harris knows climate change isn't just some distant problem. It's here and it's real, and she's not messing around when it comes to fixing it. Back in the Senate, she introduced the Climate Equity Act to make sure the communities getting hit the hardest by pollution actually get some help. She has always kept the most vulnerable in mind. As vice president, she has been backing the Biden administration's efforts to cut carbon emissions, boost clean energy, and protect what is left of our natural resources. Plus, she knows low-income communities and people of color are the ones who suffer the most from environmental damage, and she is fighting for their protection. Young voters and environmental activists love her for it. Finally, a leader who cares about saving the planet and the people on it. At number 6, she is a strong advocate for affordable healthcare. Honestly, in America, healthcare is expensive enough to make you sick, but Kamala Harris is on a mission to change that. She has been a champion of affordable healthcare, pushing to expand on the Affordable Care Act to make sure everyone has access, regardless of how much they make or what conditions they have. No more going broke just because you need medicine. She has also been loud about the need to bring down the ridiculous cost of prescription drugs and expand mental health services. Her healthcare policies really hit home for middle and lower income families who have been drowning in medical bills. For anyone who has ever had to choose between paying rent and paying for healthcare, Kamala is the fighter they've been waiting for. At number 5, she represents multiple communities. Kamala represents the America we actually live in, diverse, multicultural, and full of people with different stories. As a woman of both Black and South Asian descent, she is bringing a whole new kind of leadership to the table. She gets what it's like to have multiple identities and deal with the struggles that come with it. Because of her background, she connects with voters from all walks of life, especially people of color, who finally see someone like them in a position of power. She is a strong advocate for diversity and inclusion. She even fights to make sure immigrants, people of color, and other marginalized groups are heard and respected. For many, Kamala is proof that the future of American leadership can actually look like the people it represents. At number 4, she is a charismatic debater. Kamala Harris in a debate is like watching someone slice through butter with a hot knife. During the Democratic primaries and the 2020 vice presidential debate, she showed she was quick on her feet, delivering sharp arguments and knowing exactly when to hit her opponents where it hurts. Just ask Mike Pence. He's probably still wondering where that "I am speaking" moment came from. And her Senate hearings? Let's just say if you're on the stand, you better be ready, because Kamala isn't here to play nice. She's here to hold powerful people accountable, and she's damn good at it. So, if she's going head-to-head with Donald Trump, she is bringing the fire and the receipts. At number 3, she focuses on economic equality. Kamala isn't about letting the rich get richer while the rest of us scrape by. She has made it clear she is ready to tackle economic inequality head-on. Raising the minimum wage? Check. Making the wealthy pay their fair share? Check. Giving working families the support they actually need? Oh yeah, check that too. Kamala makes sure everyone, no matter where they come from or how much they make, gets a fair shot at the American dream. She has got plans for better wages, affordable housing, and jobs, and those plans are aimed squarely at folks who have been struggling to get by. At number 2, she is popular with young people. Surely young voters are the future, and Kamala Harris has them locked in. She gets them, especially when it comes to the issues they care about, like climate change, racial justice, and healthcare. While other politicians struggle to connect, Kamala has used social media to speak directly to them, and it has worked. She is relatable, accessible, and most importantly, she seems like someone who actually listens. That's why younger generations are drawn to her. They see her as someone who isn't just fighting for today, but for the future they'll be living in. Plus, she is way better at Twitter than your average politician. And at number 1, she has proven to be a strong vice president. Kamala didn't just sit in the back seat during her time as vice president. She was right there in the thick of it, helping make big decisions on healthcare, immigration, and foreign policy. She has been right there in the room where it happens. And getting that kind of on-the-job training from inside the White House, that is some next-level prep for the presidency. Plus, working alongside Joe Biden, she has shown she can build coalitions and lead in a country that is divided like your last family Thanksgiving. In contrast, Trump's leadership was more, well, let's just say divisive, and leave it at that. Kamala's experience gives her a leg up in 2024, and she knows how to lead without burning everything to the ground. Kamala Harris has a real shot at winning the 2024 election. She has already made history as the first woman of color to be vice president, and her run for president is inspiring to so many young people. She has managed to pull together a strong union of women, people of color, young voters, and progressives. Basically, everyone who is ready for a real change. But let's not kid ourselves. The 2024 election is going to be a wild ride. Trump still has a pretty loyal fan club, and Kamala will need to appeal to moderates and independents if she wants to win. If she can balance her progressive policies with a practical, common-sense approach, she may just convince those undecided voters to get on board. So, here's the big question. Is America ready for a leader who brings experience, vision, and history-making representation? Or are we going to take a step back into the chaos? What kind of future do we really want?